Okay, this one was pretty adorable. Damn it, Romantica, you got me. You got me to ship it. Anyway, before we get into this week's episode, episode 8, Travelers Have No Need for Shame, I do, as always, want to give a big thank you to those of you who shared last week's video over on Twitter. So a big thank you to Elusive Fangirl, Fire Otaku 845, Luna Da Otaku, and Your Truth Guy. Thanks so much for sharing last week's video over on Twitter, everybody, and if you too would like to have your name shouted out in the next JUNJO Romantica video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout your name out in the next video. Okay, so this current episode of JUNJO Romantica, where we are at episode 8, it's honestly probably the best of the Romantica series of episodes. Like, don't get me wrong, my favorite is still Egoist. Egoist is just clearly where it's at. But this episode made me get why people like the Romantica ship so much. Like, because at first I was just like, nah, I don't know. Misaki's too, like, naive, and Usagi can just be a lot, you know? Like, I don't know. I like it, but I don't super ship it. But by this episode, I'm like, okay, no, I don't want to see these two be apart. Like, I need them to stay together. So I guess I do ship it, and in fact I ship it pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. In fact, I ship it so hard that I want to pose a question to you guys. So as I was watching this week's episode, I couldn't help but feel like I wanted to check how many episodes we had left, and we only have 4 left. And a part of me was like, I could I'm not a binge watcher kind of guy, but I could very easily sit and watch like the last 4 episodes right now. So I had a thought, would you guys be cool if the next video was just 4 episodes in one? Because I just, like, I know we're close to the end, and I just kind of want to finish it, you know? And if I did that, I would then storm through season 2 and maybe even season 3, and we would just do like full season reviews after that. Like, so if I did the next video where it's all 4, the video after that would be a season 2 video, and then the video after that would be a season 3 video. Let me know if that's cool with you guys. If not, that's fine. I'm happy to stick with episodic reviews. That's what we do on this channel, so I'm perfectly okay to stay the course. But I thought I would pose the question to you, because honestly, I kind of just want to finish it, you know? Like, I feel that need of, like, I just want to binge it, and I so rarely want to binge shows, but I have been wanting to binge JUNJO Romantica, and honestly a handful of other shows as well, so I don't know, let me know your thoughts on that. But regardless, that goes to show how much I've really fallen for Romantica, specifically as a ship, like the idea that I just had to see what happens next. And now normally I like the weekly grind, right? The seasonal anime is where it's at for me. I prefer watching things weekly, but sometimes you just gotta binge a show when it's that good. And honestly, this show, especially lately, the last handful of episodes, it's been that good. But why has it been that good? Well, allow me to tell you, everybody. There's 2 things in this episode that I think are like the standout things that we gotta talk about. We have to talk about the potential separation of Romantica, and we have to talk about the visit with Takahiro, and I guess by connection, the cute-ass trip to Sapporo, but we'll get there at the end. So let's go ahead and start specifically with the potential separation, right? Like, let's just talk about Romantica, and then we'll get into some of my thoughts on Takahiro, right? In fact, you know what? No, let's go ahead and get the Takahiro thing out of the way. This character, goddamn, Takahiro is like genuinely happy to see Misaki, and I like that. You know, I appreciate that Takahiro isn't like, he's not a bad person. You know, Takehiro's not a bad guy. He just genuinely loves his brother and feels like he wants to protect him from the world, given that Misaki's been through quite a bit. We learned in this episode that Misaki genuinely feels responsible for the death of his and Takehiro's parents. Apparently, like, the way that they had died was that Misaki asked them to hurry home because he really wanted to see them, so they went speeding down the highway at night in the rain, which I don't know about you, but that seems like a poor decision, and it resulted in them crashing and both of the parents died. And Misaki blames himself for this, which is pretty heavy, but nowhere near his fault. And what I appreciate is that the show makes 2 points. Like the overall theme of this episode, I would say, is family. And the show makes 2 points to say that Takahiro is overprotective and that Usami is trying to understand what family means. And I think it's not so much that Takahiro is like a bad guardian in any way. I think he's done great to raise Misaki to be as sweet as he is and kind. But this man needs to step the hell out of the way. Like I'm just gonna be honest. Takehiro's he gotta go. He's gotta go. He's too much. Like, I get that he's trying to be nice. I have never had a character who I understand why they're doing the things they're doing. I even agree with them that what they're doing is technically the proper thing for them to be doing. And, like, I've never had a character be so kind that I wanted to punch square in the nose for getting in the damn way. Like, no character rivals Takahiro in that. Like, I don't think I've ever had a character do that. Or, like, they're so kind that you want to punch him in the nose. But yeah, I'm sorry, Takahiro. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. And I, like, shout outs to Takehiro's wife now. I almost said fiance, but they're married now. Cool of her to say, like, yeah, we'll take in your brother and we'll try to give him, like, a family setting, since that seems to be something that he wants. Except you didn't ask Misaki, did you? You just assumed that you knew what was best for Misaki, because Takahiro, even though you claim that you are only looking out for Misaki's best interests, you're overprotective, you're overbearing, and you're being a little bit selfish, something that Misaki never gets to do. So I think, if anything, Takahiro should take some pointers from Misaki. I think I'm particularly heated because when he visits Misaki, or when Misaki visits Takahiro, rather, Takehiro's, like, not talking trash. Like, it's not that he's, like, talking trash about Usami, but he's, like, just speaking ill of the man. And I'm like, don't speak poorly about especially after all the shit that you inadvertently put people through. Like, Takahiro is inadvertently the biggest villain of Romantica. Like, just like, why are you the way that you are? Why are you, like, you're so oblivious it rubbed off on Misaki, because now he's naive as hell. Like, that's what you taught him. Like, Takehiro's gotta go. I like him enough, but he's gotta go. Like, he's gotta get the hell out of the way. Like, just, no. That said, now we're gonna move on and talk about the actual ship. We gotta talk about Usami and Misaki potentially leaving. And, like, yet again, Misaki calls Usagi a moron while being the biggest moron in the show. Because Misaki is like, oh, like, I guess maybe, like, I guess Usami, like, didn't really want me here in the first place. Like, I guess maybe I was just inconveniencing him. What gave you that tip? Like, what pointed you in that direction? He's, like, so clearly upset that you're leaving. And, like, anybody can see that. And Misaki's like, oh, I guess, like, I guess it's just me. Like, and the fact is, if I didn't know that Misaki was just the most naive lad there ever done was, I would have said bullshit to this, like, to him not noticing that face that Usami makes. But it's Misaki, so I do buy it. But yeah, like, Misaki calling Usami stupid is just the dumbest thing to me. But I will say, it's really interesting to see how both characters take on the idea that they won't have the other one around anymore. And it so clearly affects them. Like Usami is torn up. He's like, he's sort of like, just, he's smoking indoors as he is one to do. But it's almost like you can tell he's in a daze. Like, he's just not sure what he even wants to do. And Misaki's upset because he feels like, oh, Usami told me that Takehiro's gonna take me in and he just let me go. But we know that, like, Usami straight up was like, no, like, I can take care of him. Like, he can stay here. Like, he doesn't have to go with you. But Takehiro's like, oh, he needs to have a family setting. And it's like, bro, like, and this, to me, is one of the things that I love about Usami's character. When we met this man, what did he say that he wanted to write about? A modern family unit. What is he trying to build? A modern family unit. And Takahiro is saying, like, oh, there's some things that only family can fix. Takahiro, I don't know if you noticed, but Misaki's been screwed up, like, for a while, and he's been with you that whole time. You didn't fix anything. And Usami is the one who's actually helping him cope and move on and become a better, more mature adult. You ain't helping at all. Like in my opinion, the family that he needs to be with is Usami and their big ass teddy bear. That's who he's got to be with. And I think this episode really cements that, especially the scene in the train. Like, my God, the scene in the train is so good. Like, it's a classic like trope where like if it's not an airport, it's a train. And like, of course, this man like is like, stay there, like find a way to kill 3 hours. I will be there. And Usami comes running, grabs him, gets him on the train, and they go to Sapporo. And it's cute. It's cute as all hell. Like, I am so stunned how well they managed to sell me on this ship when I never like I did like semi-ship Romantica, but it wasn't like my favorite. Like Egoist is clearly better to me. But man, they sold me on this. Like that scene on the train where he's like, don't go. Like, if you don't want to inconvenience me, if that's your concern, don't go. Stay. And it's like, oh my God. As soon as he said like, then don't go, all I heard was Stay by Lisa Loeb start to play in my head. Just you say, like, oh no, I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but man, like, it's such a good scene, and it got me right in the kokoro, right in the heart, just messed me up. Just, oh my gosh. That scene, that's the scene that made me go like, I could binge this. I could binge like the next 4 episodes right now if these scenes are hitting anywhere near as hard as the train scene. And I love the fact that Usami's character is so focused on like writing about family, and he's inadvertently starting this relationship and building a sort of like a pseudo family with Usami, and it's just like, or with Misaki, and it's so the pair of them are so clearly like supposed to be together. Like, and I thought that was the way with Egoist, in that like Romantica was more of an odd couple. But the way that the narrative has set up like the themes of the show, as well as like the specific character traits of Misaki and Usami, like they are meant to be together. And you know what I love most in a ship is when both characters are able to be independent of each other, and yet when they like come together to make a ship, they actually make each other better. And that's how I felt about Romantica after the train scene. After the two of them reunite on the train, everything made sense to me. I ship it to the moon and back. And again, I adored the scene of them like in Sapporo, the little like end credit scene. It's super fun. It's super fun to see like them just running around Sapporo. It's really, really super sweet. With that said though, everybody, I'm gonna wrap up my thoughts here. And I suppose the question of the day today, would you be cool with me doing just like a season video, like a full season review, and then maybe doing like season reviews of Junjo, or would you rather me stay episodic? Either way, I'm good, so just let me know in the comments. And with that said, we've reached the end of the video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to boop the up snoot and share if you care. And if you want to see me rambling even more, then feel free to follow me on Twitter or join our good folks Discord, both of which are linked in the doobly-doo. Lastly, if you're feeling generous, consider checking out our Patreon page to help support this channel. Speaking of which, I'd like to give a big thank you to our lovely patrons, such as Zevi, Alex, Andrew W, Branson C, Calvin A, Crowbar of Irony, Daniel G, Deep Not That Deep, Digger the Fox, Dominic G, Emily, Ionos, Urza, Ginkotaku, Godzilla Fan, No For Nothing, Maria T, Marshall B, Mater, Mirth Mouser, Nymad, Cell, Shadow Creative, Stephen G, The Suavest Orange, Tristan G, and Verdon. Thank you all so much for your continued support over on Patreon, and once again, thank you for checking out today's video. Hope you guys have a lovely day, and until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.